Week 6 of the college football season is upon us. How about that? The season is flying by, ladies and gentlemen. It's a little bittersweet because we've had some really, really good weeks. But as the weeks go by, the season is getting closer to its end. However, we have a lot of games to talk about this weekend. This weekend, week 6, is one of those sneaky weekends where you're thinking, oh, there's about 2 or 3 high level, high marquee games. We're not going to get that big of a weekend in college football. Folks, every time people say that, we get some big time upsets. We get some big time games coming down to the wire that we thought otherwise was going to be a blowout. Thank you for tuning into the show, everybody. It's me, Ian Fritts. Subscribe down below if you do not mind. It helps me out a lot. Comment, and I will respond to you. And then like this video, turn that bell on. You know all the things. Follow me on social media as well. A lot of fun discussions happening over there. Without further ado, the show today, game previews. You got Miami going to Florida State this weekend. You've got Virginia heading over to Louisville, Kentucky to play an in-conference ACC battle of 2 states that touch each other. And then we also have several other games, including, but not limited to, Texas Tech Houston. OU plays the School of the Blind this week. We'll talk about it. We'll pick that game. We'll talk about it. Notre Dame plays Boise State. That's a fun game. Is Notre Dame going to win that one? Who knows? Lots of really good games, lots of games to talk about, to mention, and to discuss. Mississippi State, they go to A&M this weekend. Can they pull off the upset they almost pulled off last weekend against Tennessee? Who knows? We will find out. Game previews, upset alerts, and the picks. We're jumping right into it. Game up first is Miami at Florida State. Number 3 Miami travels to Tallahassee, Florida. Spell that. I can't. Number 18, Florida State, coming off their loss against number 24, Virginia, in double overtime. Miami coming off a bye week. Now, some would say that's a little unfair schedule dynamics. Some would say you are correct. Now, last week we had some interesting schedule dynamics. Auburn went to A&M off of a road game, very similar to Florida State. Very similar to Florida State this week. Off of a road game, Auburn was last week. They went to A&M. A&M was off of a bye. Oregon, they had a game against Oregon State. They went to Penn State off of a bye. Penn State was off of a bye. So we've had some scenarios where a team is off of a bye, another team's coming off a road trip. How do these dynamics play out? Well, they've played out where the better team has won the football game each time, so the bye week really hasn't meant squat. Okay? So we will see if that plays a factor into this game, if that extra week really does help Miami. Who knows? We've got 2 transfer QBs in this football game. You got Carson Beck. He's been having a good season, looking like himself again, possibly. Then you got Thomas Castellanos from Boston College. He has had some highs, some very high highs, week 1, and some low lows, some throws last week, but he also had some nice throws last week against Virginia. A lot to discuss in this football game. You got 2 overhauled defenses from the transfer portal. Miami, they couldn't stop a nosebleed. Let's sidebar here. Nosebleeds they happen just randomly sometimes. So my thing is, why is that the saying? You couldn't stop a nosebleed. If that is the saying, I get sayings wrong all the time. So if somebody knows why you can't stop a nosebleed, drop it down in the comments and let me know, because I'm very curious as to why that is a saying. Anyways, Miami, they couldn't stop a nosebleed last year. They've been better this year. I think this Florida State offense is the best offense they have faced up until this point in the season. Statistics would back that up as well. Florida State, they stunk last year. They've overhauled the offense and the defense, but the defense has looked mightily better. Didn't look great against Virginia last week. Virginia's offense, however, is very good. This is the biggest Florida State-Miami game since when? I'll let you answer that to yourselves. You're thinking, probably like 3 years ago maybe? Nope. 2016 was the last time both of these 2 teams were ranked. It was number 23 FSU. They beat number 10 Miami on a blocked extra point to win the football game. How about that? Do we have some of that magic coming our way in week 6 of the college football season? I think we might. Some people are thinking Miami's going to roll in there and stomp all over Florida State. They think it's going to be a beatdown. Let's get into it. Is it going to be a beatdown? If you're new here, I always start with the visiting team. Common courtesy here on the Ian Fritts Show. They're visiting. Let's talk about them first. And I talk about what I know about these football teams through X amount of weeks, what we can expect based on what they've done on the football field so far, and then I have some questions for each of the teams. We're starting with Miami. What do I know about this Miami Hurricane football team? I know through 4 weeks of their season, they are they are gonna be on pretty much every field they step on, including this one, the more physically dominant team on both lines of scrimmage, okay? Offensive line, moving people off the football, protecting the quarterback well. Defensive line, they get after the quarterback and they get after him quickly, okay? Quarterback does not have a lot of time back there. Thomas Castellanos might pee his pants because these guys are coming at him so fast, okay? Both ends, defensive linemen, doesn't matter. Miami's getting pressure on virtually every passing down that they face. And in the run game, tough to run on these guys because they stone you at the point of attack. Everybody knows Ruben Bain. The man doesn't look physically like the quickest, most powerful defensive end guy. He's a little shorter than you would want, but he's got long arms. He has bend, and he's quicker than just looking at him. You see his speed in game. He probably won't test well in speed categories in the NFL draft next year, but in-game speed is there, and he's getting busy double teamed. So then you free up the other guys on the other side of the defensive line. Miami's going to get after the quarterback. They dominate the line of scrimmage. They've done it against Notre Dame. Notre Dame, notably, they always win the line of scrimmage. Nope, not against Miami. They dominated USF. USF had no chance. And then they dominated a Florida offensive and defensive line that is better than average in the entire country. Just dominating up front for this Miami Hurricane football team. That's what I know about this team. The second thing I know is they have speed at the wide receiver position, okay? And speed is a very, very good skill to have if you are a wide receiver. Speed kills. Speed kills. Malachi Toney, everybody knows his name because he is the stalwart, true freshman wide receiver out of the slot for this Miami Hurricane offense. And he has some crispy route running. Some would say his skill is more quickness than speed. I think he has both. But he has some nice in and out routes that are just impossible to guard if you get him matched up on a safety. Sometimes they even get him matched up on a linebacker, and you're thinking, how do we defend this guy? Well, you don't put a linebacker or a safety on this guy. You can't do it. And if you do, Florida State, he's going to bite you, and he's going to break a 50-yard touchdown run on you, okay? Catch and run on you. You got to be prepared for this Malachi Toney guy. And if you come prepared for him, they have an outside receiver named C.J. Daniels, who's an absolute stud, who can go up and get contested one-on-one balls like any other wide receiver in the country, like the best of them in the entire country, okay? And he can run down the field on you with his speed as well. The wide receivers at Miami, those two guys in particular, are studs, and I'm curious to see that matchup for them versus the Florida State Seminoles, okay? Biggest question for the Miami Hurricanes here. It's a new team. It's a new roster. It's rebuilt. How does the team handle their first road environment? Okay, Carson Beck has played in plenty of big-time road atmospheres, big-time away games. He's had his fair share of these games. The rest of this team, we'll see. We'll see. This isn't going to be like their last couple times to Florida State. This is a really good Florida State team. The Doak is going to be rocking. They're going to be doing their whoa the entire game, and this place is going to be loud. It's going to be rocking. How does Miami handle it? Does the pressure get to Mario Cristobal? The pressure's gotten to him on several occasions in his tenure as a Miami Hurricane head coach. He's looked good so far through 4 weeks this season. Does he keep that intensity? Does he keep the calm? Does he keep the discipline? Do his players keep the discipline? Or does the road environment crush them under all this pressure? We will see. If it doesn't, Miami could go in there and stone Florida State and blow them out of their own building. If the pressure gets to them, it could be a long day for the Florida State, for the Miami Hurricane offense and defense. Okay, what do we know about the Florida State Seminoles? We know that through 5 weeks of their season, they have been looking at this game since week one. They beat Alabama and they immediately set their sights on this Miami Hurricane team. You know why? Because also in week one, Miami beat Notre Dame. They beat the Fighting Irish, okay? And Florida State saw that. Miami saw Florida State do what they did to Alabama, and they thought, hey, week 6, that's us. That's me versus you. That's big-time game, big-time atmosphere. All eyes in the college football world will be on this game for the first time since 2016. That's what Florida State was thinking since week one. You kind of saw it last week on Friday night. You saw maybe a look ahead spot. Maybe we're just getting maybe we're just thinking about Miami a little bit too much, Mike Norvell. Maybe we were thinking about this Hurricane team a little too much 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Well, now you can think about them all you want, 24/7. Doesn't matter because they're coming to your building, and you got to hold your ground, Mike Norvell. You got to hold your ground, Thomas Castellanos. You got to hold your ground, Deuce Robinson. You got to hold your ground, Squirrel White. Okay? All of these guys have been looking forward to this game since week one. This is the game they've circled on their calendar. Yes, the Alabama game, non-conference, week one. We don't really know what we've got. This game, in-state rival, this is one they've wanted since week one of the season. Now, the second thing I know about this Florida State football team is, yes, I know they have speed. They have speed on defense. They have speed on offense. Speed kills. That's not it. Deuce Robinson, he's a mismatch. He is a mismatch. Now, you look at his statistics through 4 weeks of the season, it's a bad game, really good game, bad game, really good game. So we're due for a bad game if that holds. If that trend holds, you heard it here first on the Ian Fritts Show. I don't think that trend will hold because I think it's going to be a point for Gus Malzahn in this offense to see, hey, this number 0, he's a mismatch. He's way bigger than all the cornerbacks we face. He's faster than all the safeties we face. He's bigger than the linebackers and also quicker than the linebackers. Whoever you put him on, or whoever put you guard Deuce Robinson with, if you're Miami, it's going to be a mismatch because he's bigger. He's either stronger, or he's either faster than whoever you're putting on him, unless you have some hybrid freak person to guard this man, which I don't think Miami has. All their freaks are on the defensive line. Who's going to guard Deuce Robinson? I don't know. It should be a point for Florida State to get Deuce Robinson the ball as often as possible. That is the guy they need to run their offense through this Saturday. I believe they will try to do that. Will they do it successfully? We will see. Will Miami shut it down? I don't know. I don't think they can, but we will find out. My biggest question for the Florida State Seminoles going into this incredible matchup on Saturday night. It's Sunday here. I can't look forward to this game enough. I am looking so forward to this football game. It is going to be elite. My biggest question for this Florida State football team: what Thomas Castellanos are we getting? Are we going to get the guy that turns the ball over 3 times? Or are we going to get the guy that has 4 touchdowns, runs the ball for 120 yards, another touchdown, has 5 incompletions? Because we can get that guy. Are we going to get the guy that makes Ruben Bain miss in the backfield, spin out of all sorts of sacks that would be sacks, and then he just scrambles for 20 yards? Are we going to get that guy, or are we going to get the guy that, sees Ruben Bain coming, tries to make something happen, fumbles, Miami picks it up, returns it for a fumble touchdown? What Thomas Castellanos are we going to get? Who is the quarterback for Florida State on Saturday night? We know who it is, but who are we going to get? Okay, if we get the good one, oh, baby, we are going to be in it for an instant classic, ladies and gentlemen. Instant classic on Saturday night. If we get the bad one, Miami will run Florida State out of their own building. Now, who's going to win? The line is 5.5 for Miami as of right now, as of this very moment. Miami will win this football game. Give me Florida State to cover. I honestly, if you are new here, I do all my picks based on the gut instinct. And my gut was telling me Florida State initially. And then you start to write down Florida State. And the gut says, no, that's not right. Erase that. Put Miami. So we did. We listened, but give us Florida State to cover. Next game up, Vanderbilt at Alabama. Vandy at Bama. Just had to take a sip there for those that are listening on podcast. And if you are, thank you. We love our podcast listeners. You are missing half the show, these beautiful graphics that our team comes up with here. Vanderbilt at Bama. Who would have thought? Who would have thought last year, 365 days ago, when Alabama is the number one team in the country, they just beat Georgia. Coincidentally, they just beat Georgia again, and they play Vandy again. You just beat Georgia, and Vandy's not ranked. Everybody's doubting Vanderbilt. Yeah, they have this cool little quarterback. Yeah, Clark Lee, he looks like a superhero. But it's Vandy, okay? It's same old Vandy. Alabama rolling under Kalen DeBoer in year one. This is going to be a bloodbath. Oh, sure enough, a couple days later, Vandy knocks off the number one team in the country in Alabama, and here we are 365 days later, and Vanderbilt is the number 16 team in the country, and the offense is the highest scoring offense in the entire country in terms of points per game, and they're going to the number 10 team in the country in the Alabama Crimson Tide. You can't write these storylines. You can't make them up. You can't make up Diego Pavia. You cannot make up Clark Lee doing what he's done at historically one of the worst programs in all of college football. You can't make this stuff up. Only in college football do we get storylines and stuff like this. This is what college football is about. Historically bad program, turned around, going to a historically great program. And some people think this could be a blowout for Alabama. No. I'm not going to give you my pick yet, but no, not on my watch. What do we know about Vanderbilt? Again, start with the visiting team. We know about Diego Pavia, okay? Everybody knows about Diego Pavia. This man owns the state of Alabama. I believe he is 4-0 against the state of Alabama. That is very difficult to do. Congrats to him in achieving that accomplishment. He's also not just 4-0 against Alabama. He's 4-0 on the season. He's leading the nation's best offense. He's running the ball exceptionally well. Vanderbilt as a team is running the ball exceptionally well. He has maybe the best tight end in all of the country in Stowers. Those two guys came from the same school. They have chemistry. It's a mismatch. Sound the alarm. Boop, boop, boop. Tight end for Vanderbilt. Gonna have a big game if Vanderbilt wins. You heard it here first on the Ian Fritts Show. Diego Pavia is that dude, okay? Now, we know that. However, we will get to the questions here in a second. Clark Lee. We also know that this man looks like a superhero. He's built like a superhero. He talks like a superhero. And what he's done at Vanderbilt is nothing short of superhero things, okay? We know he's going to have these boys locked in and ready to play. He knows that they're going into a hostile environment. He knows they're going into the place that hates them the most in the country, probably more than anyone in the entire country. Okay, why? Because they knocked off Alabama, maybe derailed their entire season last year, took them from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows last year. And Clark Lee's going to use that as motivation. He says, hey, look, Alabama's at the tippy top again. They're at the tippy top again. You know who can knock them off again? Us. We can do it again. That is what Clark Lee's feeding into these Vanderbilt Commodores for Saturday afternoon. And he's going to have these boys ready to play. Biggest question for Vanderbilt coming into week 6. Can the defense hold up? Okay. At times, been a little susceptible. At times, been a little leaky. At times, you think, it's not great. Okay. You can't be not great against Alabama on Saturday afternoon. You have to be great. Are they going to be great? We'll find out. If they are, could be a really good day to be a Commodore fan. If they're not, Diego Pavia is going to have to be Superman. Speaking of Diego Pavia, what Diego Pavia are we going to get? And you're thinking, Ian, didn't you just say that Diego Pavia is like the greatest quarterback of all time? No, I said he's really good and he's that dude. He's got that dog in him. A lot of people think we use the term dog too much. No. I just think there are that many dogs. Okay, Diego Pavia is one of them. Are we going to get dog Diego Pavia, or are we going to get dog Diego Pavia? Is he going to have 3 turnovers? Because he's capable of doing that. He's capable of throwing it to Alabama 3 times in 3 straight drives, okay? Because he's going to try to fit it into a window that's the size of a quarter. If you know anything about football, it's not the size of a quarter. Won't fit. What Diego Pavia do we get on Saturday night? Second biggest question for Vanderbilt. Talk about Alabama. We just talked about Diego Pavia. We said he's a dog. Alabama's got a dog of their own. Ty Simpson just had an exceptional performance. We gave him the Certified Stud Muffin Award here at the Ian Fritts Show in the recap show for Week 5. Prestigious award, maybe the most prestigious award in college football, right up there with the Heisman Trophy in terms of prestige. Ty Simpson is now a holder of that as well. He can control the offense. He is accurate. He can look off coverages. He can move out of the pocket. He can make defensive ends, defensive linemen, linebackers, safeties, cornerbacks blitzing on him miss. You make one guy miss, you got an open receiver. That's how the blitz works. And Ty Simpson can exploit those things from Vanderbilt. He did it against Georgia. He can exploit them, and he can find them. We know Ty Simpson is an exceptional quarterback. We also know that the offense still can't run the football. Nobody can run the football on Vandy so far this year. Vandy has been really good in terms of rush defense in the country this season. Does Alabama figure it out? Does week 2 for Jam Miller figure this run game out for Alabama? They just won a game on the road at Georgia where they didn't run the ball particularly well. Does it even matter? Does it even matter? We will find out on Saturday afternoon. Excuse me. Biggest question for Alabama in this game is the defense still leaky? Does it still have a lot of issues in terms of rush defense? Because Georgia ran the ball for about 230 yards on you on Saturday. Vanderbilt has a top 10 rush offense in the entire country. They run the ball extremely well. They run the ball with trickery. They got triple option. They got all sorts of different plays that use motions, players sliding to the right, misdirection, run game. That is the name of the game for the Vanderbilt Commodores. Does Alabama pick up on that? Do they figure it out, or do they just let Vanderbilt run all over them like they did against Florida State? A lot of those same run plays, Vanderbilt runs those exact same plays, and they can use them. They can use the tape that Florida State put on in week 1 to exploit this Alabama rush defense. Is it going to be leaky? Do they figure it out this week in practice? We have 2 case studies, Florida State and Georgia game for Alabama, where the rush defense has been less than stellar. Not great to have less than stellar rush defense against a Vanderbilt team coming into your building. They can play keep away. Let's get into it. Who's going to win? What's my pick? I just alluded to it a little bit. Vanderbilt could play keep away in this football game. Really own the time of possession. I think that's the key to success for the Vanderbilt Commodores. However, give me the Alabama Crimson Tide to win this one, but they do not cover. Give me Vanderbilt to cover the 12.5. Next game up. We could go multiple ways with this game. Okay, you could go Texas Tech, Houston. You could go Mississippi State's Texas A&M. There's Florida, Texas. A lot of really sneaky good games this weekend. But we're going with newly introduced Virginia to the top 25 on the road at Louisville. Let me take a sip here before we dive into it. Virginia, ranked number 24, on the road at Louisville. Louisville is a 7.5-point favorite, and you're thinking, Ian, Virginia, they were ranked. They're ranked. Shouldn't they be favorite? No. Louisville, minus 7.5. Nobody's buying Virginia. Am I? We'll get into it. Virginia, clearly coming off a gigantic win, the best win of their season, best win of their last few seasons, at home, double overtime, thriller against Florida State. Best game of the season, in my opinion, so far. Is there a hangover? Do we get a hangover from the Virginia Cavaliers? I don't know. Louisville, who's their best win? James Madison, maybe? Pitt stinks. James Madison, a better football team. I think it's probably James Madison. But Louisville haven't really been tested by a team. Virginia's going to give them a test. What do we know about this Virginia Cavalier football team? Chandler Morris, that's a quarterback who can get you a win on the road in conference, okay? That's a quarterback who has the poise, who has the fight, who has that dog. He's kind of Baker Mayfield mold. I'm not saying he's Baker Mayfield, not even comparing him to high-level Baker Mayfield, but play style in terms of how he plays. He's kind of a shorter stature guy. The way he runs, the way he throws the football, kind of Baker Mayfield-like in terms of all of those things. Not saying he's going to be the next Baker Mayfield in terms of high-level football play. No. We probably won't get another Baker Mayfield. Play style, Baker Mayfield. And I think he plays like that, and he's going to play like that in Baker Mayfield, relish the road environment. Chandler Morris is going to relish this road environment, okay? Second thing I know about this Virginia Cavalier team, the offense is very, very good. One, yes, but it's also very, very balanced. It's about 48, 52% in terms of pass versus run in this Virginia Cavalier offense, and they put up points in every single game they play. So it's not like they're being balanced because one of these things isn't working. No. They're being balanced because both of the things are working. You know what travels in a road environment in conference? A balanced offense. Because if they shut one of the things down, well, you know that you can rely on that pass. Because it's hard for a team to shut down a balanced offense. Really difficult to do. Okay, we know that about this Virginia Cavalier football team. Now, my biggest question for them, alluded to it earlier, is there a hangover? How much juice do they got left in the tank? How much juice do they got left in the tank? Is it empty? Is it you got 3/4 of a mile left? You got 3/4 of a tank left? How much do they need in their tank to beat this Louisville Cardinal football team? Because how much do they even have left? If they need a half a tank and they got 3/4 of a tank, they're good. But if you got half a tank left and you need a full tank, oh no, not a good situation to be a Virginia Cavalier. Okay, how much do they have left in the tank? Biggest question for the Cavaliers. Louisville, what do we know about this football team? Preface this with, we do not know much about this Louisville football team, okay? However, they are a balanced football team, as well as the Cavaliers, top 30 in scoring offense and scoring defense. However, biggest question, rush offense for Louisville has been not great, okay? Their best rushing statistic is 110th in the entire country. They're relying on Miller Moss through the air a lot. I like Miller Moss, good quarterback. Is that going to kill him at home, or is it going to be fine at home? We'll see. Is the one-dimensional offense going to kill this Louisville Cardinal football team? Who is going to win this one, ladies and gentlemen? As you all know, I only go based on the gut, and the gut is screaming at me. It says, Ian, Virginia's going to go on the road as a dog and beat the Louisville Cardinals. I love this Virginia Cavalier football team. I expect big game from them on Saturday. Next up, upset alerts. Here we go. Let me take a sip. Okay. If you are new here, the upset alerts, here's how I approach it. I take 5 or 6 games, maybe 4 games for the upcoming weekend that have a point spread of 6 or higher. 6 or higher is my threshold to be on upset alert. Okay. 6 or higher, and I rank them in terms of likelihood to happen. Okay. They're not in order on your screen. But I'm going to jump into it. Least likely upset to happen of these 6 games, I believe, is Boise State at Notre Dame. Fighting Irish, okay? So the way this could happen is Boise State plays the time of possession game. They play keep away from Notre Dame. They don't let that CJ Carr offense start humming, because it's humming like a well-oiled machine right now. Okay, you got to run the ball, and you got to run it extremely well if you're Boise State. That's how it happens. Second least likely game that I think ends in an upset is Texas Tech at Houston. Okay, Houston. Improved football team. How do you win this game against this Texas Tech Red Raiders? Well, Connor Wegman is going to have the game of his life. He's going to have to perform like a Heisman caliber quarterback. You're thinking, that's no way. Heisman caliber? Yes. You compare opponents for both of these football teams. Tech is annihilating the teams that Houston is playing. Houston is struggling with teams that Tech is annihilating. I have to see just an exceptional performance from Connor Wegman. That's how this game happens on Saturday night. Fourth most likely upset to happen on Saturday is Texas at Florida. Okay? The offense from Florida has been so bad that it is so low, but the offense from Texas has been so bad that I had to bump it up maybe higher than that Tech Houston game, I think. How does this happen? Well, I think it happens kind of how Florida got beat by LSU on the road a couple weeks ago. Very similar game in terms of vibes from these two teams. Florida State was on the road. Your quarterback throws 5 interceptions. You lose by 7 because the defense is really good. That is how this could happen. Okay, that is how the upset could happen. Texas goes on the road. You're favored. Your quarterback throws 5 interceptions, and you only lose by 7. That's how this could happen. They got to force a bunch of turnovers from Arch Manning. That is how they will score the points to win. Third most likely upset of these 6 on your screen is Mississippi State at Texas A&M. How does it happen? It happens with that Mississippi State offense. They put up 35. They put up 40 points. 35 points, I believe, will be enough to win that football game. in Aggieland. I believe that will be enough to win for Mississippi State. That is how they win that football game. They put up a bunch of points, and they're capable of doing it. They're capable of doing it. Second most likely upset is Vanderbilt at Alabama, okay? They're getting 12.5 points as of right now. That's insanity. That's insanity. Vanderbilt is basically Florida State. They're very similar football teams in how they play football. Very similar. Okay, not enough people are talking about that. Very similar football team. Now, has Alabama made the adjustments? We will see. But that's why it's at number 2. All they have to do is take the blueprint Florida State gave them and put it on the field on Saturday, and it will happen. That leaves Virginia at Louisville as the most likely upset. How does it happen for Virginia? How does it happen for Virginia? I think, one, you're going to have a big game from Chandler Morris. He's going to have to be that guy on the road. I think he can be. I picked him to be. You just heard me say I think Virginia's going to win. That's why it's number 1 for me. And then you're going to have the ball more. You got to keep Miller Moss on the bench. Got to keep him on the bench. You silence that crowd, play keep away. Big game from Chandler Morris. Big game from those running backs. That is how it happens. I believe it will happen. We'll see on Saturday. Next up, the picks. Here we go, folks. We're above 500 on the season. It wasn't a great week for us last week. It wasn't a great week for anybody doing this professionally. So we're all in the same boat. It was a really tricky week, really weird week last week in terms of the lines and the points and how it all played out. Okay, West Virginia at BYU minus 18.5, Friday night game. West Virginia just got shellacked at home. Doesn't matter. Give me them to cover the 18.5 against Bear Bockermeyer on the road. Give me the Mountaineers there. Georgia minus 21. Don't care. Kentucky stinks. Iowa State on the road at Cincinnati. Give me Iowa State plus 1.5. You're giving me points. You're giving me points against Brendan Sorsby. Now he's playing some ball right now. Quarterback for Cincinnati. He's playing some nice football. Nah. I believe it ends this weekend against that Cyclone defense. Okay. Michigan minus 16.5 at home against Wisconsin. Come on. Coming off a bye? Yeah, give me the Wolverines there. Illinois at Purdue, minus 9.5 for the Fighting Illini. Big win last week at home against USC. Now you got to go on the road against the Boilermakers. I still like Illinois to cover. That's what the gut's telling me. Don't love it, but we are picking it. Penn State at UCLA. It's going to be Penn State minus 25.5. UCLA may not score. They may have negative points for all I know. Okay, Texas at Florida. We just talked about it in the upsets. Have it as my 4th most likely upset this weekend. However, I think Texas covers the 6.5. You know what? No. We're going to take Florida minus the 6.5 or plus the 6.5, but still give me Texas to win. And then we have Vanderbilt plus 12.5 at Alabama. That's a lot of points. Don't think that makes any sense. Notre Dame Fighting Irish at home minus 17.5. Love that. And then give me Virginia plus 7.5. Last 5 games. Oklahoma coming off a bye. New quarterback in there. Can they cover the 44.5? That's a lot of points. Yes, they can. Kent State may be the worst team to ever grace a football field. Texas Tech minus 11.5. I love that. I think they blow Houston out of their own building. Minnesota Golden Gophers. One of my favorite mascots in all of college football is this Minnesota Golden Gopher. Okay, awesome. They're on the road at Ohio State. How's the travel coming back from Washington? Are they a little hungover? Minnesota's got a good defense. I like Minnesota to cover the 23.5. Miami at Florida State. Give me the Florida State Seminoles to cover, Miami to win, and then last but not least, Mississippi State. They cover this 14.5. That's a lot of points. I don't really understand that line. I think that should be around 11. I think that makes more sense. I don't do it professionally. Vegas knows what they're doing, and I don't sometimes. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. That's the show. Drop in a comment, subscribe, put that bell on, and we'll see you for the Week 6 recap. I think we have a very entertaining Saturday on deck. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you. Bye.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game.
25, 40, 45, 50, 45.